Oh man. Yeah, yeah. Hey, what is going on with you fucking always paying your bills late, even though there's automatic payment, you fucking piece of shit? You know, as I mentioned before, I'm only going to do videos when I want to. There's no set schedule. Now, if you guys have been on Twitter or the internet in general, or if you're a fucking human being, you guys know that Anthony Bourdain passed away. Now, when I found out that Anthony Bourdain passed away, I was like, yo, what could have happened? Was it a car accident? Did he get mugged? I don't know. Did he go like swimming out in the ocean to go hunt a shark and then he became bait? But the reason for his passing, as it's been confirmed, is suicide. Now, instead of talking so much about the topic of his death, I do want to talk about how important and how much this guy meant to me. Now, I never met Anthony Bourdain, and if I did meet him, trust me, I would have bawled. When I found out that Anthony Bourdain passed away, man, I gotta tell you something. Like, I did not expect to cry. You know, I legit started to bawl, and I didn't know why. You know, I never met the man. I didn't have a personal, I guess, connection with him aside from the content that he created. And it really got me to think because, you know, I never understood like how people could be so affected by, you know, YouTubers. A few years back when I was living in K-Town, I went to this like concert thing that I was like a part of or I was invited out to. And there was like a K-pop star there. He was a part of this group called 동방신기 or something like that, DBSK. This dude, when he walked out, I saw this girl, and there was like this escalator on the left, right? Escalator? Escalade. Oh shit, escalator. Anyways, as the girl was going up the escalator, she noticed that her idol was walking by and about to go on stage. And this is what that little bitch looked like. I was like, what the fuck is going on? From the bottom of the escalator all the way to the top, she cried non-stop. And in my mind, I'm like, bitch, what happened to you? What? And the reason why I bring that up is just to say, like, I didn't get, like, how the fuck could you never met the guy, you don't fucking know the dude. How can you be so affected? And when Anthony Bourdain passed away, I understood. I cried over a man I didn't know. I cried over a man who I saw on TV who, albeit maybe he has terrible sides to him, maybe he has a dark past, but whatever he presented to me or whatever he taught me through the art that he created affected me deeply. You guys want to know like how much Anthony Bourdain affected my life? Just look at that Taiwan series that I did a couple of years ago. Anthony Bourdain was somebody that taught me so much about myself. Now, growing up in Sacramento, California, you know, that place is a small town. And when I was there, and even when I was like pursuing to become a stand-up comedian and go into entertainment, I couldn't really see outside of this small bubble that I was living in. You know, aside from wanting to do comedy and music or whatever, the only other goal that I really had that I was pushing for was probably just to get married, have kids, and live in this house with a white picket fence. And that's really about it. That was as far as my aspirations went because in my mind, I just lived in this small bubble. And not only because of that bubble did I have small goals for myself, my view and perspective on human beings and people were also very, very fucking small. Later on, I don't remember when, but I started to watch and follow Anthony Bourdain. And maybe not just him, but he was one of the bigger people in my life, or like one of the major catalysts that got me to think like, yo, David, like what the fuck are you doing? My perspective on life was this big. This little small little hole that you see in my fist, that's like the fucking lens that I would see everything with. Watching Anthony Bourdain, and mind you, yeah, he was a chef, and when he did have his show, he was talking a lot about the food, but it was beyond the food, it was the culture. And I started to realize something about myself. I didn't know shit. Everything that I thought was so big, major, and huge in life wasn't really that big. And I kind of learned that through watching him just experience and learn from other cultures. When you have a small mind and all you care about are the opinions of this small group of people around you, you tend to be a very hateful person. Why? Because you're ignorant. You don't understand other cultures, and then you start to like press what you believe onto other people because your world is so small and there's only set rules within that world. And that was the person that I was, and that was the person that I was becoming. And when I watched this man, I started to, I guess you could say, idolize him because he opened up my eyes and he kind of taught me how stupid I am. I wanted to be that man. I wanted to be somebody who was open-minded, but who was a strong enough person to still carry his own opinion. And that's not an easy thing to do, and that's who Anthony Bourdain was. He was unapologetically himself. When people heard of the story of Anthony Bourdain passing away or committing suicide, people couldn't really understand it, you know, and I heard a lot of like, I wouldn't say insensitive, but very misguided forms of thought, you know. Particularly one thing that maybe kind of like nudged me in a very bad way was people kept saying this: I don't understand how you could be so unhappy when you're that successful. See, when somebody says that, when they go, you're successful, you have everything, what do you have to be unhappy for? Well, the thing about that is like depression has nothing to do with that. Depression has nothing to do with how successful you are, all the things that are around you. So depression has something to do with not being able to understand, comprehend, and appreciate the things that you have. To no fault of your own, you just, for some reason, it doesn't connect. And I get so sad and I think about this, and I'm not sure if this is like the right way to think about it, but I kind of wish in my mind, I was like, man, if he could only see the value in himself that everybody saw in him. And that guy like teaches me so much things that I don't know necessarily if it's his purpose in life, but even with his passing, like he only reaffirmed what I'm doing. You know, it's not about views, it's not about people who know you, it's about creating a body of work and a legacy where you can live on forever. And hopefully like I'm doing that. You know, hopefully I'm doing that with the films, the TV stuff that I'm trying to write, and then the businesses that I'm opening up. I'm hoping I'm creating a legacy for people to remember me by. Not as the guy who, you know, went around throwing pies in people's face. Not as the guy just doing anything and fucking everything on a tag or a post to get any type of view or any modicum of fame. Someone who was a mover of like cultures, you know, again, gets people to think. And I want to be that so bad. Success is not a form of happiness, people, and the definition of happiness, by the way, is not something that's objective. Happiness is very subjective. My whole life, I keep searching for this thing to be, I guess, like content and happy at where I'm going to be or where I'm at. You know, and what I mean by that previous statement is that if we look at other people's success and you say that if I reach that level of success in your eyes, then I'll be happy, then you're really never going to reach that, because in my personal opinion, like what does like society telling you what success is affect how you feel about yourself? That's something that's very fleeting, because you're basing your emotions off of what somebody else is telling you how to feel. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because you really have to think about it, people. Like what really is success? Is money an indicator of success? Is money an indicator of happiness? And I don't really think that it is. Because if that was the case, then I guess my parents are super fucking unhappy, right? Because we didn't grow up with a lot of money. I mean, to us, or to my parents' success was having 2 kids that were able to grow up in a country with food in their stomach, a house over their fucking head. They went to college, they had an education, for me somewhat. If you ever feel like you want to take your own life, take a step back and breathe for a second. You know, a lot of the stuff that we feel is temporary. You know what I mean? Like I feel like emotions are like Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Like people are in their feelings at the very moment. And if you can't like crawl out of this dark hole, don't be afraid to reach out and ask for help. There's a lot of ways to get out of this depression and funk. And you know, a lot of people have told me, it's like, David, what you were going through was depression. And I was like, I guess. Maybe it's just I don't want to label myself as that. Not because it's like a negative or bad thing. It's because I have a support group. I have people around me that are helping me out of this quote unquote depression. You know, I reach out my hand, I'm like, yo, please help me out. And they grab it and they pull me out of that dark space. And I have that. And I want you guys to have that too. If you don't find value in yourself and you don't find value in your life, I'm telling you that there's value there, that you have to push through it. And that's everything in life. There's always discomfort. You know, there's always going to be a part in your life where you're going to hate yourself. There's always going to be a part in your life where you feel like you've dug yourself such a deep hole that you can't get out of it. But I guarantee you, if you persevere, it'll always get better. Anthony Bourdain, you will be missed. I wish I could have told you how much I appreciated you in person, but that, you know, opportunity obviously is not going to come true anymore. So, rest in peace, man.